welcome to the deep dive. You sent over some really fascinating material this time, all about our thinking patterns, and we're zeroing in on two specific ones.
Yeah.
Catastrophizing and all or nothing thinking.
That's right. And we've got a great range of sources. We've got Trish Blackwell, who's a confidence coach, but also insights from, CBT experts, Manhattan Center for CDT, Psych Central, Carleton Counseling, Colorado College.
Center for Clinical Interventions, too, and even Psychology Today, looking at the sort of underlying psych.
Exactly. So it gives us a really good, well-rounded perspective on these tendencies.
And what really jumps out from all of this material is that these aren't just like personality quirks, are they?
No, not at all. They're recognized cognitive distortions.
Right, cognitive distortion. That basically means our brain's kind of using faulty logic, right?
Yeah.
Making assumptions that don't really stack up.
Precisely. And our aim here in this deep dive isn't just to define them.
No.
We want to get into how they actually, show up day to day, and crucially, pull out some practical strategies.
Yeah, give you some tools to spot when these thought patterns are kicking in, and importantly, how to handle them better.
Because let's be honest, while they're common, they can really mess with your mental well-being.
Oh, definitely. They fuel anxiety, create stress you don't need, and can even stop you from making progress on things you care about. So, okay, let's unpack this. Starting with, I always think of it as the drama queen of negative thinking. Catastrophizing.
That's the way to put it. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
So catastrophizing at its core is when you jump straight to the absolute worst possible outcome.
Right.
You exaggerate the potential downsides, even if there's hardly any evidence suggesting it's actually likely.
Trish Blackwell really nails it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Saying it makes small problems feel massive.
Totally. It's like your brain takes this tiny little worry and just blows it up into this huge, scary monster with all these what-ifs.
And that doesn't just make it hard to deal with the original small thing.
No, it takes a huge emotional toll, as Trish points out. She gives some really good examples of this in action.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick that mental leap is, like getting a tiny bit of criticism at work.
And boom, your mind goes straight to, I'm going to lose my job.
Or stepping on the scale, seeing you're up 1 pound.
And suddenly you're convinced you're on a one-way track to gaining 50 pounds.
Exactly. And it's not just work or weight, is it? She talks about how, one negative comment can make you think nobody actually likes you.
Or if you run a business, one bad review means, my stuff is terrible, what's the point?
Totally. It reminds me, actually, I had this minor hockey injury once, twisted my ankle slightly. Really minor, but my brain instantly went to, that's the snowboarding season ruined.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't be able to run properly ever again. Just completely blew it out of proportion.
That's a perfect example. It really underlines what Trish calls a mismanaged imagination.
Yeah.
It's not logic driving it, is it? It's fear just taking the wheel and running wild with these, frankly, pretty improbable worst-case scenarios.
Absolutely. Okay, so that gives us a good handle on catastrophizing. Let's switch over to the other common one, all or nothing thinking.
Right. All or nothing thinking. You might also hear it called dichotomous thinking or black and white thinking. And it's basically seeing things in really rigid extremes. There's no middle ground, no shades of gray. It's either one thing or the total opposite.
Trish Blackwell sums that up well, too, doesn't she? Like, if I don't succeed perfectly, I failed.
Or, if this doesn't go exactly to plan, it's a complete disaster. That kind of binary on-off view of things.
Yeah, it's like the volume knob is either off or blasting, nothing in between.
Yeah.
The Manhattan Center for CBT has some really relatable examples of this.
Yeah, they do. And it's interesting just how many different parts of life it touches. Like they mention how someone might think any day with even one rough patch is a bad day, full stop.
Or if it's raining at all, it's absolutely unsafe to drive. No consideration for how hard it's raining or, road conditions.
And it definitely creeps into how we see people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like believing kids grow up to be either totally good or totally bad. Or thinking because you didn't get an award at work, you must be a bad employee.
Right. Or in relationships. Forgetting an anniversary means you don't love someone at all.
Or that a real friend should always know exactly what to say to cheer you up.
That example they give about Samantha's date is quite telling.
Oh, yeah.
The date was pretty good overall, but she just dismissed it.
Completely. Because there wasn't that instant, intense spark. So in her mind, it was either soulmate potential or total waste of time. No in between.
Wow. So the Manhattan Center really shows the day-to-day stuff. Psych Central also gives some good examples across different areas.
Like with self-perception, thinking, if I don't always get A's, I'm a failure.
Right. Or teenagers looking at retouched social media images and thinking, my body isn't like that, so I hate my body.
Instead of maybe, okay, I like some parts, maybe I want to work on others, it becomes this all or nothing judgment.
And it hits motivation hard, too.
Definitely. That classic thought, well, I can't finish everything perfectly, so I just won't do anything.
Recipe for procrastination right there.
Or the alarm doesn't go off, so you just cancel the whole meeting. Just like that. Extreme reaction.
And with depression, this thinking pattern can be really strong.
Yeah, those sweeping statements. I never feel happy. I always feel sad.
Everything is terrible. Nothing good ever happens.
And that feeling of permanence. It's always going to be like this.
Even in arguments, right? You never ask how I feel, or you always raise your voice, ignoring all the times that's not true.
Albert Bonfil from CBT Los Angeles gives more concrete examples, too. Like, one mistake means the entire project is ruined. Or thinking it's totally unsafe to go outside at all just because it's flu season.
Judging a neighbor as a fundamentally bad person just because they're loud sometimes.
Right. Or anything less than an A+ is complete failure. Forgetting a birthday means you're entirely uncaring. It's that same inflexible either logic across the board.
The Center for Clinical Interventions chimes in with similar stuff. In sports, that no prize for second place mentality.
Academically, the student with mostly A's and 1 B thinking, I'm a total failure.
In relationships, if we don't always agree, it's a bad relationship.
And that harsh self-worth judgment, if I'm not the absolute best, I'm worthless.
And it's not just abstract, that Reddit user's experience.
Yeah, that was powerful. Describing how in difficult moments they'd see loved ones as either all good or all bad.
And interpreting even small negative things as proof someone is just all bad.
It's intense. Interestingly, psychology today mentions there might be an evolutionary reason for this kind of simple categorical thinking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe it helped our ancestors make quick judgments, friend or foe, safe or dangerous.
Makes sense for survival, maybe.
But in our complex social world today, it's pretty limiting, isn't it?
Totally. It's like trying to navigate a full-color world with only black and white crayons. It just blinds you to all the nuance and, honestly, a lot of the good stuff.
Well said. Okay, so we get what it looks like. What about the impact of thinking this way?
Well, a big one, according to the Manhattan Center for CBT, is feeling trapped or stuck. Because if you only see two extreme options, you're blind to any middle ground, any alternative solutions.
And they talk about selective attention, which is fascinating.
How does that work?
Well, when you're in that extreme mindset, you tend to ignore information that doesn't fit your black and white view.
Okay.
And you actually amplify the stuff that does seem to confirm it. So it just reinforces the distortion over time. Makes it harder to break free.
And emotionally, it sounds draining. Anxiety, sadness, frustration, hopelessness.
Yeah.
The Manhattan Center lists them all.
Yeah. And they really connect it to perfectionism, too.
How so?
Well, if everything is either perfect or a total failure, the stakes feel incredibly high all the time.
Right.
Which leads to what they call maladaptive perfectionism, the kind that actually hurts you rather than helps.
Like their example of feeling like a failure if you go to bed with any dishes still in the sink.
Exactly. That level of rigidity.
And both Psych Central and Albert Bonfil link it strongly to depression.
That harsh self-view, exaggerating every little failure, dismissing positives, it breeds those feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness that are so central to depression.
And anxiety, too, presumably.
Oh, definitely. The constant fear of falling short of that perfect mark, always expecting dire consequences if you don't meet it.
Creates a lot of chronic worry.
Yeah, can contribute to generalized anxiety, social anxiety. Makes sense.
Carlton Counseling mentions the damage to relationships as well.
Yeah.
If you see people as all good or all bad.
It's hard to navigate the normal ups and downs, isn't it? The complexities of people.
And finally, Psych Central and Carlton both mention self-defeating behaviors and procrastination.
Yeah, that follows logically. If you think, I can't do this perfectly, that all-or-nothing view might just make you avoid trying it altogether.
Okay, so we've got a clear picture of these patterns and their downsides. Now, the crucial part. What can you actually do? Let's take catastrophizing strategies first.
Right. Trish Blackwell has some really practical advice here. First up, just call yourself out on it.
Like notice it happening.
Exactly. Recognize, okay, my thoughts are spiraling into drama mode here. That awareness is step one.
Okay. Then what?
Do a reality check. Look at the actual evidence. What supports this catastrophic thought? And just as important, what evidence contradicts it?
Ask yourself, is this really true or am I exaggerating?
And What's the most likely outcome here, realistically? Colorado College backs this up. Actively question the worry, look at the facts.
Trish also talks about reframing that worst-case scenario.
Yeah, instead of dwelling on the disaster, try shifting to thoughts like, okay, whatever happens, I can handle it.
Or even if the worst does happen, I'll figure it out.
Right, things like, this is uncomfortable maybe, but it's not unbearable. Or reminding yourself, I've gotten through tough stuff before, I can get through this too. Really grounding affirmations.
And shifting towards a growth mindset seems key too.
Hugely important. Telling yourself, okay, this challenge, it's an opportunity to grow. Or one setback doesn't define me.
Cultivating that self-trust. Like, I trust myself to adapt, and focusing on progress, not perfection.
And since fear is often driving catastrophizing, calming your nervous system is vital.
Wow.
Simple things. Affirmations like, I am safe right now. I choose peace over panic. This feeling is just a feeling, not a fact. And she suggests that really practical idea of consciously breathing in calm, breathing out worry.
Getting the thoughts out of your head onto paper can help too, right?
Yeah, she recommends writing down the catastrophic thought and then asking, okay, what's another story? What's a more realistic way to see this?
And focusing on what you can control, brainstorming solutions.
Exactly. Shifting from the overwhelming fear to proactive steps. And finally, just being really mindful of your self-talk, actively practicing using less extreme, more balanced words.
Yeah. Colorado College has that useful list of questions too, right?
Yeah.
Like defining the situation, rating belief, checking evidence for against, likelihood, worst most likely outcome, and future okayness.
Yeah, a really solid framework for challenging those worries systematically.
Okay. Great stuff for catastrophizing.
Yeah.
Now, what about tackling all or nothing thinking?
Well, the first step, echoed by Trish Blackwell in the Manhattan Center, is self-awareness again.
Noticing the pattern.
You got it. Actively spotting when you're falling into those extreme judgments. Carlton Counseling suggests looking for those telltale words. Always, never, completely, total failure.
Psych Central also stresses becoming aware of that internal narrative, the stories you tell yourself that are so black and white.
Then once you notice it, Trish says you need to actively challenge the extremes.
Ask yourself, is it really all or nothing?
Precisely. Are there no other possibilities here? Look for evidence of the gray area, as Trish and the Manhattan Center suggest. Albert Bonfil emphasizes consciously seeking out that middle ground, too.
And embracing imperfection is a big part of it.
Huge. Trish encourages celebrating small wins, acknowledging progress, even if it's not perfect, moving away from that harsh, perfect, or failure scale.
Reframing the thoughts themselves sounds powerful too.
Definitely. Intentionally replacing extreme statements with more balanced ones. So instead of, I failed, I'm a failure.
Try something like, okay, I didn't get everything done as planned, but I learned X and Y.
Exactly. More realistic, more self-compassionate. Albert Bonfil also highlights consciously swapping those automatic extreme thoughts for more accurate, nuanced ones.
And setting realistic expectations.
Breaking big goals into smaller steps, aiming for progress, not perfection right away, as Trish suggests. The Center for Clinical Interventions talks about seeing things on a continuum, not just two poles.
Psych Central mentions metacognition, thinking about your thinking.
Yeah, developing that skill to intentionally notice your automatic thought patterns as they happen. Preparing for bad days, building emotional regulation skills. These help stop you falling into the trap when things get tough.
And they suggest exploring yes and.
Right, as a way to broaden that binary thinking, like, yes, I face challenges and I also had good moments. Or, yes, I'm a good person and sometimes I make mistakes. Acknowledging the complexity.
Albert Bonfils has that practical tip too. Shifting from 0-1 thinking
to a 0-100 continuum. Yeah, just visualizing that scale can help bring a more realistic perspective.
So, beyond those specific tactics, are there general strategies that help with both?
Absolutely. Mindfulness practice is mentioned by several sources, Manhattan Center, Carleton, Colorado College. Just improving that moment-to-moment awareness of your thoughts. And cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, comes up a lot as being really effective for these distortions.
Right. Manhattan Center, Psych Central, Albert Bonfil all mention it.
Yeah.
The Reddit user even mentioned specific workbooks like the CBT Toolbox.
Yeah, definitely a key therapeutic approach.
And Trish Blackwell really stresses self-compassion through all this.
Crucial. It's not about blaming yourself for having these thoughts. It's about gently guiding yourself towards healthier patterns. With kindness.
And patience. Right. Trish and Carlton both say, changing these habits takes practice.
Absolutely. It's not an overnight fix. Consistent effort is key. And of course, if you're really struggling, seeking professional help from a therapist is always a good option, as Psych Central and Albert Bonfil suggest.
So to kind of wrap up the strategies, Trish Blackwell offers that power phrase pyramid.
Yeah, I like that. The foundation is, I believe that everything works for me, not against me.
Then I operate from a place of faith, not fear.
And I am a powerful, flexible thinker. Or maybe I am becoming a powerful, flexible thinker.
Nice. It really sums up the goal.
And she gives that great reminder about neuroplasticity. Our brains can change.
Yeah, you're not stuck with these patterns forever.
Exactly. You really do have the capacity to reshape your thinking over time.
It comes back to the power of words, consistent practice, challenging those thoughts.
The more aware you become, the more you practice these reframing techniques, the more you can shift towards a more balanced, resilient way of seeing things.
Okay, so key takeaways. Catastrophizing, all or nothing thinking, common distortions, big negative impact.
And this is the important bit, they're not fixed traits. You can change them.
Through awareness, challenging the thoughts, reframing, focusing on growth, self-compassion.
Exactly. Building that mental resilience takes practice, but it's definitely possible.
All right, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Think beyond just feeling less anxious or stressed, as important as that is. How could moving away from strict black and white thinking actually open up new possibilities, maybe deeper understanding in your relationships or in your own personal growth? What subtle, interesting shades of gray might you be missing in your everyday life right now, just waiting for you to notice?